And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the final series of the broadcast, the final series here of the group stage of the Brazilian StarCraft 2 circuit, Brasileiro Circuito de Brazil. I already said it. Like my Portuguese is very rough, Fab. It's very rough. Where's the logo? Where is it? There we go. Circuito Brasileiro de StarCraft 2. There we go. There we go. Welcome, welcome, one and all, again to what will become an offline event in Brazil. We are working through the online group stage, but the playoffs are going to be offline in Sao Paulo, in Brazil, in a month. In just over a month's time here, so it's amazing, it's beautiful, it's gonna be hype, I'm sure. Shout out to all those working behind the scenes. Shout out to iSky, shout out to Rocklet, shout out to Cosmo, shout out to all those working behind the scenes, casting, observing, adminning, and running the event, and also to the Brazilian community as well for crowdfunding the event, for crowdfunding and bringing everything together and making this event a reality. So much love to the Brazilian scene as we are jumping into our final series. Spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Amygdala, we have our Brazilian Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Xemius Gaming. It is Vitorino. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Terran player, also from Brazil, representing Team Hellfire. It is Maffer. And if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our ZVT rematch. These two faced off earlier in the group, and it did barely go the way of Maffer. Maffer did take the series 2-1, but it did go to the ace match. It went all the way to the ace match. It could have gone either way. It was very interesting to see Vitorino have different approaches. Game 1, he went roaches. He went for a roach-based opener into Roach Hydra Ultra. Game 2, he went straight up Ling Bane instead. He went Ling Bane Hydra. Game 3, we saw a little bit of greed out of Vitorino. He was trying to tech up into Ultras, but he failed to get there. He failed to tech up. As he was teching, Maffer shut him down. Maffer was able to completely shut him down. He was able to go for the kill and catch Vitorino with his pants down. The pants were down, and it was over. It was over then and there. But now we have the rematch, and we'll see how our Zerg player adjusts. I'm mainly looking at the Zerg just because he's a player that has been, I would say, having different adjustments here and has been having different approaches. We'll see how he does approach this. I mean, to be fair, at the same time, Maffer also did play mech previously, going 2-base mech. It was crazy, it was wild. Out of this world. Este mech. Well, that was in a previous series. For now, Hatchgas Pool, standard opener out of our Zerg player. Likewise, Maffer going for a thorough TC before Starport. Economic build out of our Terran. So far, everything looking as it should. So far, everything looking normal. We go. So players are settling in. From here, we have a couple of tech options here from our Terran. We can, from here, go into Banshee play. We can go into BC, which we did see previously, going BC into Bio, actually. Mech was a different game. As there is no second racks, not yet. Likewise, we do have our Zerg player just droning, saturating, making queens, splitting off in between the bases. So far, solid setup here from our Zerg. There's the add-on swap into Cloak Banshee. I say Cloak Banshee, previously in this broadcast, in these games, we have seen Maffer actually has been avoiding Cloak, just opening up single Banshee as a very safe way to play in towards a longer game. And once again, it's going to be quadruple Hellions, so 4 Hellions into an add-on swap with only a single Banshee. I'm not too fond of this opener. It does mean that Maffer has less map control and less map presence with less Hellions. Ooh, meanwhile, 4:15 lair timing, very early lair out of our Zerg player. So early there on the way. Meanwhile, earlier swaps here from our Terran. Overlord does confirm the lack of research on the tech lab, so no Cloak Banshee, just a singular Banshee into Bio. So again, Maffer is very light on harassment potential, as it's only 1 Banshee without Cloak and only 4 Hellions as well. So very light setup. Meanwhile, Lings, they do poke in. They shouldn't get much done though, as, oh my god, a bit of a reaction. The boys are being pulled. I tell you. Calm down, Pappy, calm down. It's okay. Goes back to mining. Back to mining. As Vitorino, he is building up, throwing down his Evo chambers, getting into his upgrades. We did take note of the earlier lair, but it looks like it's just going to be a Ling Bane with Failing Speed and with 1/1 upgrades. Now, last time we saw this out of Vitorino, he did go into mutas, true. Not heavily into mutas, just 7 mutas, then into towards Hive Tech and towards Ultras. But this is what we saw previously out of our Zerg player. We'll see if he does the same. As we mentioned earlier, there it is, there's a Spire. So last time we did mention how Vitorino did go into just a handful of mutas off of Ling Bane. Same thing here. We are going to be delaying upgrades as a result. So later upgrades here out of our Zerg player. So the Ling Bane is going to be suffering as a result, going for an Infestation Pit before 1/1. Ooh. This is very greedy. This is very greedy here. Speaking of greedlings, they do get in, they go for the mules, they get one. One mule goes down. But Carapace is one of the most important upgrades here in the mid game for Zerg vs Terran, or for Ling Bane compositions, I should emphasize. It is quite important here, and it is going to be heavily delayed, if not completely missed. We're spending a lot of gas elsewhere, and again, this ground army is going to suffer as a result. If Maffer were to push out soon, and he should be getting ready for a push, by the way, especially with his 1/1 is going to be delayed though. Yeah, 1/1 is going to hit a little bit later, so Maffer is staying back at home. Carapace is on the way, and Maffer, he might not punish. Might not punish this. Spire is now done. We have a Hive already in production. Like, this is just so tech intensive. It's crazy. Rushing into Hive, rushing into Ultras. I mean, the last time that Vitorino tried this, Maffer just rolled over him. He just moved out, he just pushed, and he just ended the game. So he's working towards his Hive. This can lead into fast Ultras. Most likely the direction that we're heading in. We have some safety Corruptors on the way for some anti-air. And we're waiting for his push. 1/1 about to finish. We're waiting for the move out. Now, thankfully, Vitorino, he's making extra lings. He's not joining up to, I mean, he has joined up quite heavily here, up to almost 80 workers, but he should be fine here. He does successfully join up. Banshees, they poke in. They got eyes on the Spire. And Corruptors will reveal themselves. They do reveal. Remember, there's no cloak, so the Banshees, they're just going to be thrown away. And where's the push? We're waiting for it. 2/2 starts up. There's that Ultra Cavern. Again, this is so greedy here from our Zerg player. Maffer, can he punish this? I mean, he can. We need to send it back. We need to send it. He has enough. He has more than enough. And the longer this goes on, the better it is for the Zerg. Because all this, he's getting away with greed. He's getting away with it. Here comes the move out, potentially. We're waiting for the unsiege. As the Bio Army does come together. He is pushing, but not moving out with all of his tanks. Claiming his fourth. And if he stays at, yeah, he's staying at home. He's staying at home to defend, which means Vitorino, he does it. He gets away with it. He's up to 80 workers. The Ultra Cavern is done. He can start his Ultra upgrades into Adrenal. All the Hive Tech can get underway. And Maffer is only going for drop play. Only drop play. He keeps the main army at home. He does not punish the Zerg. I mean, at this point, there's plenty of Ling Bane anyway. So even if Maffer were to push now, it's too late. Like, it's too late. Like, Vitorino, now he has an army. Fortunately for Maffer, Vitorino's moving into him. Vitorino should not push up this ramp. Uh-oh. He's going for it. Doesn't react in time. Bailing's a crash in and no splits. Yeah, no splits. Massive connections. Vitorino, he does permanent supply, as that was not the most efficient fight. So Maffer does hold. He does take advantage of the gold base. But that might just deter Maffer from pushing. Like, even though that wasn't the best fight from Vitorino, you know what's important? Ultras. Ultras are on the way, or the upgrades on the way. We're still missing adrenal glands. Adrenal glands has not been researched, not yet. Maffer does take a supply lead. But Maffer is unaware of the hive. He hasn't seen anything yet. He's unaware of the hive tech. Unaware of what's going on. Likewise, drop gets called out. Maffer has to get the hell out of here. Oh! Does pull away. Does pull away. Viper production has begun. Vitorino, he's kind of getting into his final form here. We're still missing Adrenal, and likewise, we're also lacking +3 attack. So the upgrades are a little bit staggered. They're a little bit delayed. Meanwhile, 3-3 is on the way for our Terran, so the upgrades are on point. Going for another double drop. This shouldn't get much done. Both armies are maxing out. Drops are dealt with. Catching 1, catching 2. Catching up both medevacs. Maffer still just going for only drop play. Ghost production has begun at least. Getting into Ghosts. Just being more defensive. Chilling on the high ground. Tanks are unsieged. Oh, no, never mind. Yeah, some of them do siege up. Ling Bing rolls in. Shows up Lightning Clouds covering the tanks. And he does crash into Marauders more than anything. Yeah, Bailing's a smash into Marauders. And Maffer, he is trying to hold on. Does hold. Does defend. Forces this back. Catching up the Ultras. The problem though here is that Vitorino, he's so fast to remax. He's so fast to rebuild, making more Ultras, more Lings. Maffer, he attempts a counterattack. He is so deep on creep. Uh-oh. He will threaten the expansion, that is true, and he has more reinforcements on the way, but he's gonna get caught out. Where are the ghosts, Pappy? Where are the ghosts? Does snipe one Viper. He gets one. Likewise, he kites back. Ultras, they've arrived. They catch the army on creep. He cleans everything up. He swallows up the Terran. And Maffer, he plummets in supply. Maffer, he does have a bank, but he's trying to spend his money. Trying to rebuild, not fast enough. Is he only on one factory? Yeah, one factory. Oof. Only one factory for the Terran. The production just isn't there. He cannot spend his money fast enough, not at this point. Maffer is suffering. And Vitorino, he's done it. He's done it. He's broken through. He stumbles out of control with his Ultras. Takes down the Planetary. And there's nothing left. There's just nothing here. There's, what, half a tank. There's a couple of Marines, a couple of Marauders. 3-3 does finish up. The upgrades are good, but it may not. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. GG gets called. And Vitorino, he will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Vitorino, he does take the first game, and with that is one game away from claiming the series. Maffer, he's up against the wall, one more loss and he's out. Again, he had potential when it came to his overall, when it came to the game itself. There was definitely opportunities where Vitorino was just being very greedy and cutting a lot of corners, but he wasn't punished. Maffer was just very passive. When he was finally being active, he was going for drop play, right? He was only going for drop play. He was not going for these main pushes. Likewise, also his production was lacking. Late second factory, for example. Also, when it came to producing, he was missing macro cycles as well. So just had a hard time rebuilding after that first big fight. And with that, we're getting into game number 2. And we'll see if Maffer can recover and bring it back. Ooh, as we are loading into El Dorado for the first time today. Again, this is one of the more vetoed maps of the map pool, so we don't often see this map as much. But I'm ready for it. Let's go. So we're loading into one of the more quirky maps of the map pool. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of El Dorado, we have the Brazilian Terran player, the blue Terran representing Team Hellfire. We'll see if he can bring back, we'll see if he can force that ace match. It is Maffer. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the Brazilian Zerg player, the red Zerg representing Ximius Gaming. It is Vitorino. Leading the series 1-0, 1 game away from claiming it, from advancing on into the second group, into stage 2 of the group stage. Into the next round. Let's see if he can make it there. Again, exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the Wikipedia page yourself. This is stage 1. There's also stage 2 afterwards, which is a second group stage 2, if you will. And then we have the playoff bracket thereafter. Group stage 2 is going to be in the first week of May, for those who are curious. First week of May. It's on the horizon. Likewise, the offline event, I believe, is going to be happening in June. Yes. Will be happening in June, the weekend of the 22nd. Oh boy. I mean, everything's happening. I believe we have the Brazilian offline event in June. We have Cheesadelphia in June as well. There's a lot happening. A lot of StarCraft. Meanwhile, oh my god, we're rushing roaches. Jeez. Let's go. Roach 1 gets thrown down. So early game aggression here out of our Zerg player, so I was just a little bit distracted, but it's going to be a late hatchery, so early pool, early gas, late hatchery. SCV Scout does confirm how late the hatchery is. Lings are already out. He knows something is wrong, something is amiss. Lings should not be out right now. And back at home, we need a bunker on the high ground. Por favor, on the high ground. Not at the natural. Not again. Por favor. So, the early Lings, they don't really say the whole story. They say aggression, but it could be a Bane Bust. It could be a Roach Rush. There are options here with what this could be. And we're going for the, I mean, technically the bunker's on the high ground, true. Technically. This is still very, very ambitious. It's very risky here from Maffer. As Ling Speed is on the way, Roaches are moving out. And it is easier to assault this natural. The ramp is wider. There's more surface area here as well. There's less voice to pull to repair that bunker. It's further away from the production. It's just going to be a more difficult defense here from Maffer. We'll see if we can pull this off. Now, what I will say, actually, looking at this, Vitorino, he's droning. He's not going all in. He's droning up. He is going to be poking in with his roaches, but he is not committing. Now, he might still deal damage, don't get me wrong. But can Maffer get away with his defense? Roaches, they rush past the bunker. They're very low on HP, but they will deny mining at the natural. Oh, Overlord taking a lot of hits, taking a lot of damage. Roaches, they get 2 SCV so far. And they keep Maffer on a 1-base economy. So he's going to be stuck on a 1-base economy. But Maffer, he should clean this up. I say should. It's going to cost him quite a lot though. Oh my god, 1 Marine does get into the bunker. And should take down 1 Roach. Ravager's morphing in, let's go. No, it shouldn't finish though. Yeah, in the end, Maffer will defend, he will shut this down, and no critical damage. In the end, he gets away with the bunker on the low ground. Again, this was not a Ravager push, this is just a handful of Roaches. This is not too committed. And Maffer defends. And sure, he loses some mining time, sure he loses some SCVs, but in the end, he holds. Meanwhile, fast lair. Jesus, fast lair here from Vitorino. Now, this could be 2-base Muta. This could be for just a commitment into Roaches. We'll see where this takes us. Meanwhile, we have Cloak Banshees on the way here from Maffer. I don't see any spores. Vitorino, he might be cutting too many corners here. He also has a low queen count. So because of the early aggression, because of the commitment into Roaches, there's only 2 queens. There is 0 spores. Now, the lair does mean that we have access to an Overseer, but in general, Cloak Banshees can do very well in this kind of game state. On top of that, no 3rd CC. So 1-1-1 from Maffer, earlier tank production. Another factory going into mech of all things. Oh, yeah. Going into mech. We're gonna be here for a while, Pap. Oh, no. Not like this. Not like this. As the Banshee moves out. There are 0 overseers at the moment. Lair is done. Gas is being taken. Yep, 2 base meter. So 2 base meter out of our Zerg player. But can he survive? Because here it comes the Banshee. Cloak is done in 10 seconds. Banshee's revealed. We're 5 seconds off. We gotta send it, Pat. We gotta send it. Cloak is done. There's still no detection. You can do it. Get in there. All the way. And there we go. Mining is denied. So drone's going to be going down. Then we go. Overseer does respond. Workers have to evacuate. Heading towards the natural. So far, good damage. Now, the Overseer will deal with this. The Banshee does have to pull away. But so far, nicely done. It denies mining in the main. Gets 3 drone kills. Banshee survives. Now, the one scary thing here, does scout the lair, does see no research on the Roach Warren, doesn't see what's happening at the natural. It's mutaplay. And similarly to what we just saw, where the Banshee could just wreak havoc and do damage unimpeded, uncontested, the mute is going to be the same. What do we have? Tanks and Marines, tanks, Hellions, Banshees. There's 1 Cyclone, and there's a handful of vanilla Marines, which will never have stim because it's mech, so the anti-air is very limited. With a high enough muta count, we can actually focus on the Cyclone, focus on the Marines, and just kill everything, right? We're making tanks and Hellions. That's what we're reinforcing with. So these mutas have potential. It all depends, though, on how they attack. If they only go for SCVs, if they maybe get too close within range of the Cyclone, then mutas can be dealt with. Like, this Cyclone does have a lot of potential defensively, but we'll see. We'll see how they do engage. As mutas they move out, it's going to be 7 mutas in total. They can one-shot SCVs. Only 7 mutas. You head into the main. SCVs, they will be going down. Cyclone does respond. So far, 3 SCV kills. Cyclone locks on. Mutas they avoid. 1 muta goes down. Nice pickoff. Gets 1 muta so far. And this will not be game-ending damage. It's going to be 7 SCVs. Getting a Hellion. Denying mining at the 3rd base. Behind this, Vitorino, he is not droning too heavily. He can be, but right now he's focusing on Lings. And of course, he now sees all the mech. He saw the factories. He knows what's happening. Denies mining at the 3rd. Getting 12 is... this is getting out of hand. Getting 12, getting 14. 14 SCVs go down. Lock-on is broken. And it looks like Vitorino, more than anything, is getting ready for a counterattack. He's expecting Maffer to go all in. But he does need to make roaches. Vitorino, he has a lot of gas banked up. Getting to Baneling speed. Making Ling Bane. Not roach production. Which is a little bit concerning. But Maffer is not moving out. He's not pushing. Staying more defensively. Ling Bane getting in position. Now we have a decent amount of Cyclones getting into Thor production. The mutas are less effective. I mean, 18 SCVs went down in total. That is good damage. And we're not done. No turrets. Yeah, we're still not done. No turrets. Nothing in the main. More workers going to be falling. These mutas, they more than pay for themselves. Getting another 7 SCVs. Oh, he's not done. Oh, the mules, the fresh mules. Get out of here. He gets 1 fresh mule. Just the 1. Thankfully. Ah, no. Now, my biggest concern here is that the army that Vitorino's making. He did not get roach speed. He has a roach warning. He did not get roach speed. He's going Ling Bane. Ling Bane, as you can imagine, does not trade well against this kind of army. It trades okay against Hellions, but against tanks and Cyclones and Thors as well, this army is just so tanky and so beefy that it takes a lot of Ling Bane and a lot of Banelings to actually deal a dent to this army. So I'm very concerned here by the composition that Vitorino is building up. It's very lackluster, doesn't scale well against mech. It can be okay against battle mech, sure, but against a tank heavy style, no shot. So that is a concern. Oh, going Ling Bane into Ultras. Now, Ultras, they can fare better, but they're still a ways off. Likewise, you only have 1-1 on the way, so upgrades not quite there either for the Zerg. I do feel like there's a lot of strength here in this Terran mech army moving out. There's a lot of potential, and Maffer is pushing. Is pushing. Vitorino, he's in trouble. I'll be honest, I'm not too convinced that he can survive this, but we'll see. We'll see if he can pull this off. Like, if he catches this army unsieged, and if he catches this army move commanding, then maybe, but but otherwise, I can see this army just A moving. Just A moving in. Like, again, Vitorino, he had access to roaches. He could have made some. He could have made some roaches and ravagers, but alas, did choose to commit into Ling Bane. He's setting up for a surround. Best case scenario, tanks are sieged, and here we go. He pulls a trigger. Ling Bane rolls in, and he does good on top of the Hellions. Hellions will go down. Tanks, they survive. Thor survive. The army survives the Ling Bane, and that's it. That's all that there was here. That was left for the Zerg. As you mentioned, Ling Bane tickles this kind of army. It just doesn't have the firepower to deal with mech. And mech, he just started stepping in. We have 6 Ultras on the way. Ultras, they can help, but we deny 1-1. They're going to be 0-0 Ultras, and they're not going to do anything. Yeah, they do nothing to this. The mech is going to snowball out of control, takes down the natural, pushing into the mineral line, going for the tech. Oh, not going into the main. The Ultras, they're slowly building up. The Ultras are arriving. But in the end, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. Ultras, they trickle in. Nice blinding cloud. Okay. It is a nice... It doesn't matter. The blinding cloud is good. But the Ultras, they have no upgrades. It's 0-0. Now, Maffer's production is lacking. He's not producing. There we go. Now he does start his macro cycle. So the supplies are close, but the soup does lie. Like, the soup does lie. Maffer is miles ahead. We have 5 more Ultras in production. Maffer, he breaks into the main. He's going for the tech, going for the Ultra Cavern, the Roach Warren as well. 7 Ultras in production for Vitorino. Oh no, the eggs. The Ultras are being camped. They're popping out one at a time. Down goes the Ultra Cavern. What you see is what you get. Oh no, they trickle in. And GG gets called. We are going to the 8th match as Maffer, he will take game number 2. And we're going to game 3. Let's go. GG. Again, Vitorino, he did amazing with his mutas. The mutas, they did so much damage, but behind it, what was Maffer doing? He wasn't droning, he was teching into Hive, teching into Ultras, and he was committing to Ling Bane. And as we saw, as we were attempting to emphasize, Ling Bane is not what you want against a mech heavy composition. It can be okay against battle mech. When I say battle mech, I mean like purely like Hellion Cyclone. Like Hellion Cyclone, like Ling Bane can be okay, specifically like Ling Bane Hydra. Ling Bane Hydra Viper can be okay against battle mech. But against a more traditional form of mech, against something with more tanks and Thors as well, yeah, Ling Bane it's just not. It's like just ramming up against a brick wall, and the brick wall is solid. Ling Bane does nothing. And with that, GG. With that, GG well played. And there was potential with the Ultras if they had upgrades, right? There were 0-0 Ultras, like 1-1 was denied. There was no kindness plating. So with that, we're going all the way to game 3, and we'll see how this story ends one way or another. This is the final game of the broadcast. Let's go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the Brazilian Zerg player. We have the Brazilian Zerg, the red Zerg representing Eximius Gaming, being forced into the ace match. We'll see if we can bring it back. It is Vitorino. And spawning in the bottom left hand, sorry, top left hand corner of King's Cove, we have the Brazilian Terran player, the blue Terran representing Team Hellfire, fighting back, surviving, and bringing us here to the ace match. We'll see if we can go the distance here and make it to the next round. It is Maffer. We go. we go. As we are setting up, as we are getting ready. And so far we do have our openers. So far, hatch gas pool, standard setup here out of Vitorino. Remember last game we did have an earlier pool and an earlier gas geyser. This time, standard timing with the hatchery. So hatch gas pool, standard build out of our Zerg. Likewise, Maffer going for a standard opener as well. After a more chaotic game 2, we're coming down in game 3. As a reminder, last game we did start with a roach rush. It was like a roach rush into Ling Bane eventually. And sorry, roach rush into Mutaplay, into Fast Lair. And again, the Muse, they did amazingly. They just wreaked havoc. They dealt so much damage. They also scattered everything as well. Like, I should emphasize that it wasn't like Maffer's build was a surprise. Not at all. It was all scattered. It was all seen. Here we go. Here we go. Vitorino, he does take his third. Again, standard opener, standard third base timing. So far, so good. And we do see Maffer getting to his own third CC. Okay, now the last time we were here on King's Cove, we did see mech once again from Maffer. It wouldn't be a bad map for it, to be honest. I mean, King's Cove is very defensive. We should talk about the map a little bit here. Welcome one and all to one of the most largest, most macro maps in the map pool. Second only to, say, Abyssal Reef or Neon Violet Square. But coming into King's Cove, you are very fortified on 3 bases. The reason for this is that there is a very narrow ramp coming into the natural, so it is very easy to just wall this area off and to just set and forget this location and focus your defenses at the 3rd base instead. Likewise, at the 3rd base is also a ramp coming into it, so you have the high ground advantage, and there's no way for run-bys to really dip in between the bases. There's no entrance in between the 3rd and natural, as it's all secure and walled off by this cliff face. So very easy to secure yourself on 3 bases. The 4th base is more exposed. True, the 4th base is more exposed, is more out in the open. Because of that, we often see a lot more engagements in a later game at the 4th location, in the mid to late game. But typically on 3 bases, we don't really see much aggression here. There's no easy way to break a player on 3 bases, outside of Mutaplay or Nidus play, for example. Meanwhile, Fast Lair out of Vitorino. Meanwhile, Maffer going for his own bio play, not mech. Stim is on the way. Let's go. So we're done with the mech, at least for game 3. It is going to be bio. The Overlord comes in for a scout. Overlord does confirm the upgrades. Let's go. Does confirm. Does get eyes on the 2nd Rex. Does get eyes on the Stim timing. Is aware. Here we go. Likewise, we do see Vitorino trying to be active with some links here. It's not too easy to get damage done, but we might see a couple of SCVs. He does threaten the 3rd base at least. He does get eyes on the Hellions. Back at home, droning, Baliness on the way. Lair is done. And oh, we are rushing very quickly here into the infestation pit. Greedy play here by Vitorino, but I believe it is easier to get away with this on a map like King's Cove. Now, as things they poke in, they get shut down by the Hellions. Now, what this should be, in my mind, is rushing into Ultra Tech. So Ling Bane into Ultra, skipping Mutas, skipping Hydra, skipping all that, and going straight into Ultra Tech instead. I would imagine that's the direction here. The other option could be Swarm Host. Like, Swarm Host play is viable on King's Cove. There are certain angles of attack where you can go into Swarm Host play, but Swarm Hosts are more ideal against mech. Remember, Vitorino, he scouted the bio. He knows about Stim, he knows about all the Raxes, so this should be for a fast hive, I would imagine. Yeah, there it is. So fast hive out of Vitorino. Now, my one concern about this, like, I'm all for the fast hive. What I'm concerned by is lack of Evo chambers, lack of upgrades. Even if we have a fast hive, even if we get into fast ultras, which I believe that's the plan, the upgrades are very late. Late upgrades here, so sure, ultras, they can be good and all, but without upgrades, ultras are actually quite fragile. They're quite fragile, they're quite squishy. They don't really hit their stride until they get into, you know, +8 armor with the initial kindness plating and +3 carapace as well. Oh. Late Spire, interesting. Now, because the Spire, this tells me that there's less gas for upgrades. Now we're going into double Evo chambers, but again, the Evo chambers are very late for Vitorino, so it's going to be a bit of an awkward setup here going into ultras. We'll see how passive Maffer is going to be. Technically, if our Terran player here is passive enough, then Vitorino can get away with this, for sure. Like, the late upgrades may not matter if the Terran player gives Vitorino some time to get into 1-1 and get into 2-2 and, you know, get into kindness plating, for example. There's a changeling amongst the army as well, so we'll spot the move out. There's that Ultra Cavern again, as you mentioned. This did scream Ultra Rush. I'm not too fond of the Spire just because, again, it does eat into the gas to be spent on upgrades and to be spent on Ultras. Speaking of gas, more gas is being taken. Vitorino joining up, saturating. So we go. Maffer does rotate into the main. Does rotate in. Likewise, we have our upgrades on the way. Going for ultra speed first. Interesting choice. I was about to say that this would make sense if we actually just hold back on making ultras until we get into better upgrades, but we already have ultras on the way. Maffer moving out with his double drop. Going for the queens. Gets one, gets two. Takes down two, takes down 3 queens. Nice pickoffs. Just 3. Threatens the base. Threatens the mineral line. Toss threaten. Likewise, main army is amassing. Maffer, he's gonna push. And we've kind of been here before. Now this time they're going to be not 0-0 ultras, they're going to be 1-1, right? There's going to be 1-1 upgrades here for Vitorino, but Maffer, he is committing. And it comes down to the control. It comes down to whether or not Maffer is able to split back and pull back his bio army and preserve his army against the Bailings. Ultras get spotted. And now Vitorino, he's distracted. Maffer moving in towards the left-hand side. Does move in. Drop here towards the natural, distracting Vitorino. Main army pushing in towards that expansion. Towards the 4th. See, he's moving in. Drop on the right, takes down the queens, not bad. Queens are going down, drones going down as well. Vitorino, he's having a hard time setting up his army. The ultras, they do respond. We have 6 more ultras on the way. Kindness plating is almost done. Upgrades, they're looking okay. Gonna have what, +4? +4 carapace. The only main does roll in. Oh, attempts to. So far, good pull away here from Maffer. Takes a couple of banes to the face, but the hatchery is gonna go down. And the drop comes back in. Vitorino just having a hard time defending. Does pull back, takes down the queen. We spoke how difficult it is to protect and to save your 4th base on this map. Maffer has yet to take his own, true, but he's maxed. Jesus, he's maxed out. rallying everything he can. Ghost production has begun. That's the one thing he's missing here is Ghost for the ultras. As Vitorino has yet to invest into 2-2. No 2-2 upgrades. Maffer soon to move in. As he still has a lot of creep to go through. There we go, Vitorino engaging, pushing into tanks. He cannot move into this. Again, ideally, Vitorino, he wants to wait for Maffer to push onto creep. Getting a little bit too excited. Does push into the tank line. Lane Bane gets spent, and the ultras are on their own. And they're being targeted down, one after the other. Down to how many? Down to 4 ultras left. 4 ultras remaining. Maffer still moving in. Ultras getting very low. Likewise, still rallying across the map. Maffer is pretty all in here. How many racks is he on? 8. Okay, he's 8 raxing. There we go. Now we get a 4th base. He does need a saturate, does need a transfer. Like Maffer, he's so close to breaking Vitorino. You can see Vitorino, he's down, what, 40 supply. The Vipers will help, 100%. Vipers, they can allow Vitorino to defend even with a smaller army. True. With Blinding Clouds. Maffer takes his center base. He's still rallying. He's moving in. Maffer, ideally, he wants to fight off of creep. Snipes are going up, catching out the ultras. And the ultras, there's what, 2 ultras left. We get some blinding clouds. Viper's going to be going down. Brutal losses here, and Maffer, he's done it. He's done it. He has broken Vitorino. Send it, Papi. Send it. Keep going. Keep pushing in. As he's still rallying. Still rallying over. There's what, 5 ultras in production. That's a lot of ultras. And Vitorino, he can hope for a better fight on creep. But Maffer, nah, he knows how close he is. Moves in, takes out another expansion, rallies forward with his Liberators. Massive Blinding Cloud. Oh! Blinding Cloud on the army. Ultras collapsing in. Not quite able to. Not quite able to. Snipes on the Ultras once again. And there's what left? There's 3 Ultras remaining. That's what the ghosts are for. Liberation has arrived. We can set up the zones. Ultras, they try to collapse forward. Vipers, they rally in. And that's all we had left. That's all the Vitorino had remaining. Maffer, he breaks through. Again, it was cheeky to rush into Ultras in such a way, to rush into Hive. Alas, wasn't quite able to get to his final form. He did eventually get into 2-2 upgrades, but took some really rough fights before Viper Tech. And Maffer has done it. As Vitorino, he's down to what? Down to 2 bases. Pushing into liberation zones. Trying to rush in. He's not going to be able to. Not going to be able to. The snipes are just too much. GG, well played, gets called. And Maffer, he will advance on out of the group into the next round. GG. Oh. GG, well played. Did go all the way to the ace match from Maffer. He will claim the series. Congratulations. Congratulations to Maffer. And a shout out to Tata Giba as well for also advancing on in first place out of Group B as well. GG. GG, well played, congratulations. A shout out to Vitorino. He did play well for himself. He definitely had some stronger moments in previous games. Here he was trying to cut corners, was trying to be greedy. Unfortunately, he didn't quite get away with it. The build itself was, of course, inefficient, as we were pointing out. There were some inefficiencies to it. Did get to Ultras in a roundabout way and wasn't quite able to, really support the Ultras either. Eventually got into Vipers, eventually got into his spellcasters, but that was after the fact, right? That was after he had already taken some losses, after he had lost a base, after he had lost his initial Ultra Tech, or his first wave of Ultras. He just wasn't quite able to get there. GG. GG, well played, congratulations. And again, Maffer, he will advance on, and let's catch up on the bracket, let's figure out where we are and where we're headed, and also try to explain the event itself, as there might be some people that are curious as to what's going on, as to what's happening. But here we go. We do have the Brazilian circuit. The Brazilian circuit of StarCraft 2 2025. Let's go. Again, big shout out to the Brazilian scene for crowdfunding this event, for bringing everything together. As you can see, it is a massive tournament. We have, how many players in total, by the way? 24. We have 24 players in total. As you can see here, we have our set of players. We have our Terrans, our Protoss, our Zerg, and we do have some GMs. We have some pro players, but they are not playing yet. This is stage 1. And there are multiple stages to the tournament. As you can see here, scrolling down, we just wrapped up the first 2 groups. Group A and Group B have concluded. We have Shakti and Sefidov. To be fair, Sefidov is Masters and Shakti is GM. But they did make it out of Group A. Here in Group B, we have Tategiba and Maffer also making it out of the group as well. They do make it out of Group B. And we have tomorrow the remainder of stage 1. We have Group C and Group D. We're going to be featuring Elevolts, Victor, Taipan, Matrix, likewise Kid B, Dakon, Projectox, and Purple as well. So we still have the remainder of the group stage tomorrow. Meanwhile, next week, sorry, I say next week, in 2 weeks time, we have group stage 2. We have group stage 2, we have the next set. Now, certain players have been seeded already into the group stage. We have not actually drawn the groups, so don't know who's in each group yet, but that's where you get the big dogs. That's where you get players like Allison, Master, Inexorable, Eric, Claw, Kamikaze, Yanji, and Dominoko. All the top players in Brazil will be seeded directly into stage 2. That is where they will be featured. Right now, it's all about these other up-and-coming players to try to make their way to face off against them. So again, that's going to be in 2 weeks time, and then we have the playoffs, and this all leads into an offline event. There's going to be an offline finals over in Sao Paulo. So again, the Brazilian scene have crowdfunded together to be able to book a venue and to pay for travel costs for the players and to have one big event in Sao Paulo. So I do look forward to it. Again, it's going to be amazing, going to be beautiful, and of course we are going to be the official English casters for the event for the broadcast. So there we go. So here on the CranKy Ducklings, it is at a rough time right now. It is 9:30 in the morning. We started casting at 4 a.m. by the way. 4 a.m. casting back. Oh good. It's now 9:30 in the morning. We made it, but yes, we have the playoff brackets towards the end as well. I mean, of course, because we're in the initial group stage, we are featuring some lower ranked players, like some diamond players and masters players. So because of that, you can see some inefficiencies when it comes to their builds. We can see some otherwise missed opportunities as well. But you know, there's no shame in that. You know, they're still doing their best. They're still playing their hearts out. They're still doing what they can to progress and to make it further in the tournament. So as always, I would refrain certain people in the chat from judging too harshly here. Some of these players already gave a warning earlier to Jinx, so don't be a clown. Don't be a clown in the chat. Aye. But with that GG, well played. With that will conclude our initial group here, our initial that will conclude our initial group. That will conclude our initial broadcast here. So I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. I hope you all had a great time. For those that are curious, again, Group C and D will be featured in less than 24 hours. Same start time as today's broadcast, but tomorrow. So another 4 a.m. cast. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Another 4 a.m. cast is on the horizon. We're also going to be live earlier than that. We're going to be live in around 12 hours. No. 11. In around 11 hours time, we're going to be live on this channel with some more StarCraft with the Firegrow Cup group stage. That is a CIS tournament for the CIS region. So we're going to be featuring the group stage here of Firegrow Cup here for you live on the channel. So we got you covered with some more StarCraft. It's going to be Firegrow Cup into day 2 of group stage 1 of the Brazilian StarCraft 2 circuit. So again, a lot of StarCraft on the horizon. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be beautiful, I'm sure. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Now, because I did actually nap before the cast, I think I did nap during the semifinals of MSO. I'm quite well rested, and I did actually want to have a cheeky ladder session if possible. So only for a couple of games. Again, our next broadcast is in 11 hours, so I have a couple of hours before I should rest up before Firegrow Cup. So the plan is to stream to have some ladder games. Let's go, baby, let's go. So if you're interested, you can stick around. We're going to be going live on my personal channel with some StarCraft 2 ladder. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Again, we'll see you in 11 hours for the Firegrow Cup, or we'll see you in just under like around 23 hours time. I should say like 20 hours time. For day 2 of the Brazilian StarCraft 2 circuit. Once again, a big shout out to Roddy. Big shout out to Rotterdam, as he did give us a big raid earlier after concluding the Platinum Heroes April tournament. So thank you so much. Big shout out to the raid. Hope you all enjoyed yourselves. For those that are unaware, we do cast StarCraft here on a daily basis, twice a day. That's why I said we're live in 11 hours and then in 20 hours. So we do cast twice a day, every single day. We cast more StarCraft than any other channel out there. We have the quantity. And we have a little bit of the quality as well. We're live every single day, twice a day, papi, all the content, all the StarCraft. When it comes to any other events that we're covering, tomorrow, or yeah, technically tomorrow, we're going to be live with the Woody TV Monday. Woody TV Monday, that's going to be on the 21st. We also have the Pegasaur Monday on Tuesday. That's going to be on the 22nd. We have the Rex April Madness playoffs this week. We have Code for Giants Cup for some more Brazilian StarCraft. We have the StarCraft Evolution King of the Hill over the weekend. We have more Firegrow Cup, StarCraft Evolution again on Saturday, and some Kung Fu Cup action on Sunday. So plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft. We also have the Euthermal 2v2 event. That is next week. Euthermal, he has been hosting these monthly 2v2 tournaments, and we don't cast it, but we do admin. We do admin the events. We work behind the scenes on making sure that it runs as smoothly as possible. So do look forward to some Euthermal 2v2 action. Again, that's going to be towards the end of the month. And with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate the support. We're going to be heading off for the time being, and yeah, we'll have some cheeky ladder games this morning. Very sleep deprived ladder games. It's gonna be beautiful. Oh no. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego. Till next time.